Titiro, thanks indeed for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an interesting story because you've left the comfort of a corporate job, of course, and you ventured into entrepreneurship. Many answers to that question depending on who you ask, but why did you do it?
I think it was a calling. It was a passion. It was a pain point that I realized that a lot of students are actually experiencing at the moment, and I realized that, you know what, there's something needs to be done. And another thing is, with experiences that you have in corporate, it also gears you and prepares you for such a journey. My stint as in innovation as well, in my previous job, it kind of prepares you to actually think outside the box and see what the pain points are and figure out how to actually handle that.
Why did you identify learning materials? And of course, you're dealing with thousands of students, you're on tertiary level. Yeah. What made you say, well, that's going to work?
Honestly speaking, this whole thing also culminated from the Fees Must Fall movement. And my lecturer used to say, if you want to add value, look at where the pain points are and find the solutions towards that. And when I unpacked the Fees Must Fall, I realized the main three things that they were fighting for or disgruntled about students. The actual tuition cost, accommodation, but then there was a silent one that not many students are actually really going out in unity and crying about, and that's actually fees when it comes to books. So I realize now that there's nothing much I can do when it comes to tuition and accommodation, but from a technology perspective, there's something that can be done when it comes to textbooks. And I had to figure out how can we think outside the box to disrupt this market when it comes to textbooks and make sure that students can actually access it easier.
So how does your app work?
So basically the reason, what's disrupting about it is that for the first time ever, we are allowing students to actually buy per chapter. Now, in most cases, you find that a textbook, let's say, is 1,000 rands. If it's digitized, you find that it's probably 100 rands less, 900 rands. Now, that is still a lot for many students. And in most cases, you find that this student wants to write a semester test now, and they need about 6 or 7 chapters. They don't need the entire 15 chapters. So I actually took now the whole model and flipped it around and realized that let's do it per chapter so that it becomes cheaper. Now, if a chapter is about 30 rands, then it's much more affordable. You can buy the 3 or 4 chapters you need right now and be able to have more access and better access and be able to save up for chapters that are going to be needed in the next semester test.
One would think there was some legal work that you had to do homework-wise and just speak to some of the big boys, so to speak. I mean, was that a daunting process or not?
Yes. In fact, actually, I mean, they always say that you've got 4 hours to chop a tree, 3 hours to shop. You must spend 3 hours sharpening the axe. There's a lot of research. A lot of reading, understanding the publishing world, understanding the legalities around that, and also speaking to some of the mentors in that space as well. So there was a lot of people in the background who've guided my thinking around it, but then at the same time, from a digital perspective as well, right? You need to understand if the market is ready for this shift. You need to actually find out if students are ready for this paradigm. Can they actually be comfortable studying using digital tablets or on their PCs? So there's a lot of research that comes with it, and from the legalities as well, I did get a lot of help as well.
And when you look at this sort of thing, well, not only do you satisfy an immediate need, but you also got to see how it could grow. Well, let's start with how you actually make the money. I mean, do you make how does your app make money?
All right. So there are a couple of business models that we have, but the initial one would be via the unit sales. So I have actually a contract, which I was truly grateful for, with Juta Publishers. They were the first who saw the vision and they came on board and they actually took the risk with me to actually try this out. So there is actually a revenue share model. So every chapter that has been bought on my platform, there's a percentage that I get and there's a percentage that they get. So that's one way of getting, generating revenue. There are other models as well where we're talking about potentially later on advertising, but I'm still trying to figure out whether it's a good way or not because it tends to deter people from your platform as well. And then there's also the MI and data that we're going to be generating as well. That's going to be very rich and very insightful. And that's one of the ways that we're looking at generating revenue going forward.
Just a very quick question. Growth-wise, you may have looked at it as well. Can it grow?
Oh, it's very ubiquitous because this model is quite scalable. That it's very easy. I mean, right now the scope is on tertiary students, but it's very easily replicable in high school and lower schools. And then you can even take it, it's very easy to just replicate it in other countries as well. So I'm currently having a chat with some group in Botswana who are very interested in getting the app there, and it's super easy to actually replicate it going forward.
Ditiro, thanks very much indeed for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good luck.
All right then, thank you.
Well, that was Ditiro Ratloane, of the co-founder of Illuminate.